Hello and welcome to another episode of Cultural Leaders Group TV. I'm Dr Milton Brown, and today we are honoured to have with us David Griffiths, the chair of Kirklees Heritage Open Days Committee. David has been at the forefront of celebrating the rich history and diverse culture of Kirklees through an annual Heritage Open Days Festival. This year's festival promises to be particularly special, with 100 free events showcasing everything from historic buildings to unique local traditions. We'll be exploring the highlights of this year's programme and exploring the significance of preserving and celebrating our shared history. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us. Could you start by giving us an overview of what the Kirklees Heritage Open Days are and why are they so important to the local community?
Sure. I mean, Heritage Open Days is a national festival, actually. It's been running for 25 years now, and it's coordinated nationally by the National Trust. But at local level, it's very much up to volunteers to make what they will of it. The Kirklees programme, it's always been there, but it got a good kick from some of us in the voluntary sector maybe 8 or 10 years ago now, and it's really gone from strength to strength since then. And it's wide open, really. I mean, some people are a bit scared of the word heritage, I guess, but it's really wide open for anybody to contribute anything that they feel tells us something about the community we live in.
How do you define heritage?
Well, it's an academic debate at the end of the day, isn't it? We haven't really tried, and we've had, it can be, people think of the old, don't they? And there's a lot of old buildings that open up for the programme, but we're perfectly happy. For example, we've had the stadium, and they're making a re-entry this year, actually. We've had modern university buildings as well. It's anything that represents in some way, I think, the culture that we share and the roots that we've all come from.
So it's historical and cultural, which lends itself to being heritage.
Yeah.
Excellent. This year's theme and its roots, networks and connections.
Yeah.
That's roots, networks and connections. How has this theme influenced the events and activities being offered?
Well, there's always a national theme each year, as I say, defined from the centre. And we welcome people responding to that, but equally there's no obligation to do so, so people can do what they like. But it certainly has had an influence this year, I think. It naturally brings transport to mind, doesn't it? And there are a number of different transport walks and talks, medieval roads, railways, the archaeology of Holstone Moor, for example. But we've thought a bit more creatively as well. For example, the Huddersfield Gasworks, iconic site, is being demolished this autumn.
Oh, wow.
And so we've managed to negotiate a final glimpse of the gaswork. Gas pipes are a network, just like transport is, and so it's been interpreted as people wish, really.
So transport and connections is how we, as the general public, intergenerational, and present, connects with the roots and networks and the connections.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you make of it, isn't it? I think people have interpreted it in, as I say, in a fairly narrow sort of transport sense, but also in the way that we make connections as communities and as people. For example, another new entrant this year is the Joe Cox More in Common Centre at the university, which is, I think, it's there in the name, isn't it? We have more in common than that which divides us, as Joe Cox famously said. So they're opening their doors for tours down there for the first time.
The festival is set to include 100 different events, with over 30 being new additions.
Yeah.
Could you share some of the highlights or must-sees events that attendees will be entertained?
Well, I'm always very cautious about the idea of recommending highlights, because we just facilitate and people put in what they wish to put in. So this is not about favourites, but just to mention, I've mentioned a couple of the new things perhaps already. Another one which I think you've got on screen is the old Huddersfield College building up New North Road, which some people will know. It became a Huddersfield Technical College building later on, and it's now Highfields Apartments. But the owner there is opening up, and he's got a whole collection of Huddersfield College memorabilia on display. So he's not trying to sell his apartments, I don't think. He's trying to celebrate the history of the building. Another Huddersfield example is the stadium are back in the programme. The football club have rejoined the programme this year. And they're offering specifically, which will appeal to a lot of football fans, I think, the working with the Archive Service, they've got the original architectural plans of the old Leeds Road Stadium on display, and the Archives people will be there to talk about how they're conserving those plans for the future. So as I say, I think a lot of town fans with happy memories of Leeds Road and the cowshed will be pleased.
They were doing well at that time.
We'll be pleased to see that. Yeah, good start to this season actually. I mean, there's always a good programme over in the Spen Valley as well. Not to sound as it's all about Huddersfield. There's always a good display at Cleckheaton Library, organised by the Friends there, and they're very much going with the transport theme this year. And there's a railway display, railway walk in Batley as well, display at Batley Library. So as you say, I mean, over 30 new entries this year, and we love to have that turnover. You know, it doesn't grow and grow because people come and people drop out, but we are just about on a record, I think, with this year's 100.
Excellent. You've mentioned the involvement of many local volunteers and organisations. How important is this to community's involvement to the success of the festival?
Well, it's absolutely essential, as you can imagine, with 100 or so events, 80 or so sites across the district. Nobody's really getting paid to do any of this at all, you know. So it's there are literally hundreds of volunteers, ranging from church wardens, church volunteers, members of clubs and societies. It's absolutely essential. We get a small amount of practical support from Kirklees Council, but no core funding at all. So it's all voluntary effort, basically.
Could you think that the libraries and museums are they involved but no financial?
They're involved. Museums dob in a couple of £100 for an advert in the brochure, which I'm sure we'll mention. The print brochure out and about, and it's also available online. So they put a small contribution in there. And there's practical support from the libraries in terms of and from the council's mail service in terms of getting the brochure widely distributed across the borough. Museums are helping us with social media this year, which is great because none of us on the committee is particularly good at that. And council communications team will be helping on the publicity side as well. But there's I don't want to knock it. There's a good deal of practical support going in.
So it sounds very much like
it. But financially, we cobble it together each year as best we can, really.
Okay. Kirklees is a district with rich and varied heritage. Yeah? How do you ensure that the events and activities reflect the diversity of the areas? Well,
we try ever so hard, but I still think we've got a long way to go, really. I mean, it's we knock on a lot of doors and we don't get as far as we'd like with that. I mean, we're delighted to have, for example, the Sound Systems Culture mini festival taking place in Huddersfield. We've got well over 30 churches and other Christian places of worship involved. Anglican, Methodist, Quaker, and indeed the Seventh-day Adventists, a recent addition to the programme, which we're very pleased about. But we have not succeeded this year in touching on any of the other faith communities, sadly. We dearly love to, and I'd love to hear from people who think they might want to sign up for future years, perhaps for a mosque or a Sikh temple, Hindu temple, or of course a secular building as well to take part. So we feel it's absolutely our aspiration that the festival should properly reflect the diversity of Kirklees. People come and go, but we've got a long way to go, I think, still.
It's an interesting word, this diversity, though, because the programme is very, very diverse. In terms of what your output is, but when you look at the kind of folks who are involved in that,
the demographic,
you'd like to increase that.
We absolutely would, yeah.
With so many events spread across different locations, what advice would you give to someone planning their visit?
Well, what we've done this year is produce a very full calendar of events, so it's very easy to identify. I don't know if this will work well on screen, but there's a complete listing of the times and places of events. This is widely available in print across the district now in libraries and elsewhere. What we haven't done this year, because people are so used to using the website now, is that there's a national website, which has full details of, so if you want to know about access or booking arrangements or facilities at the site, all of that's available on the website, and you can just make your way through from the brochure. The brochure itself, our local brochure, is, as I say, widely available in print from this week, and also online, and will be promoted widely on social media as well. So I think what that gives you is a planner for the 10 days, really. So you can look across the geography of the district. You can look across the days of the week, and you can map out your highlights.
Great stuff. You've well and truly publicised then.
Well, it's work in progress, but this is the key week for us. I don't know when this is going out, but this is the key week for us to get the brochure around and about. Hopefully by the end of this week, 23rd, 24th of August, you should be able to find it in every library, in every coffee shop, and so forth.
And finally, looking ahead, how do you see the future of Kirklees Heritage Open Days? Are there any particular goals or aspirations you have for the festival in coming years?
Well, I think we've probably touched on this, Milton, already. I mean, it's great to have 30-odd churches involved and also secular organisations, but the demographic is skewed towards what you might call the more traditional communities of Kirklees, and we'd like to do much better in representing the demographic diversity, and I think that would probably also help with both the volunteers and the visitors tend to be of a certain age often, and we do need to be reaching out more to young people. I hope we're getting better at social media, and I hope that's going to help to widen the audience in that way. But I think we've still got lots to do, really.
So just finally as well, Dave, what's your role in this as?
Well, I mean, I come into this as a local historian in Huddersfield, so I'm on the committee. I represent the Huddersfield Local History Society, and that's alongside 8 or 10 other local history societies and civic societies, and just sheer volunteers from different parts of the borough. But over the last few years, I've taken on the role of what the Heritage Open Days national team would call the coordinator for Kirklees, which really means chairing the committee and ensuring it all happens in time each year. But it's absolutely not a one-man band. I've got a very strong group of volunteers across the borough as well.
Well, I wish you and your team across the borough all the very best in this year's Heritage Festival.
Thank you very much, and thank you to KLTV for taking part itself this year.
Yeah,
Which we didn't mention as a highlight. But,
okay. For our viewers, if you're in Kirklees or planning to visit, this is an event not to be missed. Remember, all events are free, so take this opportunity to explore, learn, and enjoy. I'm Dr. Milton Brown, and you've been watching Kirklees Local TV Cultural Leaders Group. See you next time.